Have you ever noticed that sometimes the ones who think they know everything know the least? And those who come with empty hands ready to learn are the ones who truly gain wisdom? Today, I will tell you a timeless story, a story of a king, a wise master, and a simple empty cup. A story that carries a lesson powerful enough to change the way you look at life itself. Long ago, in a vast kingdom of golden fields and towering castles, there lived a king. He was admired for his power, feared for his armies, and respected for his wealth. From the outside, he seemed to have everything, but inside, his heart was restless. This king had conquered lands, built palaces of marble, and filled his treasury with mountains of gold. Poets praised his name, and his people bowed before him. Yet, when the celebrations ended, when the torches went out, and he sat alone in his chamber, a strange emptiness gnawed at him. One night, while gazing out at the moon, he murmured to himself, "I rule kingdoms, but not my own heart. I hold riches, but not peace. What use is power if wisdom escapes me?" The next morning, he gathered his ministers and declared, "I have conquered men, but I have not conquered myself. Tell me, where does true wisdom live? For gold and swords cannot buy it." The ministers looked at each other nervously. Finally, the eldest among them bowed and said, "Your Majesty, in the mountains to the east lives a master. He is said to be the wisest man alive. Kings and beggars alike seek his guidance. Perhaps he holds the answers you seek." The king's eyes lit up. "Then I must meet him. Prepare my horses, my guards, my servants. We leave at once." And so began a journey unlike any the king had ever taken. The royal caravan wound its way through villages and forests, past rivers and fields. Wherever he went, the people stopped to bow, to cheer, to marvel at his shining crown and embroidered robes. The king sat tall upon his horse, yet inside his thoughts were heavy. Days passed. The mountains grew nearer, their peaks disappearing into the clouds. Finally, after a long climb through winding paths, the caravan reached a quiet monastery perched upon the cliffs. There were no marble gates, no golden walls, only silence, the rustle of leaves, and the soft sound of wind chimes swaying in the breeze. The king dismounted, his jewels glittering, his soldiers standing proudly behind him. He entered the courtyard where an old man sat, clothed in simple robes, his eyes closed in meditation. This was the master. The king cleared his throat. "Wise one, I am the ruler of this land. I have come to learn the secret of wisdom. Teach me, for I am ready." His voice was commanding, yet beneath it was a trace of longing. The master opened his eyes slowly. They were calm, steady, as though they had seen centuries pass. He studied the king, not with fear, but with quiet curiosity. Without a word, the master rose and gestured for the king to sit at a small wooden table. On the table was a clay teapot and 2 cups. The king frowned slightly. He expected scrolls of knowledge, sacred rituals, or profound words. Instead, there was only tea. The master began to pour. The warm liquid streamed smoothly into the king's cup. It filled quickly, reaching the brim. But the master did not stop. The tea overflowed. It spilled on the table, dripping to the floor. The king jumped back, startled. "What are you doing, old man? Can't you see? The cup is full. No more can go in." The master gently placed the teapot down. His eyes met the king's, and then, in a calm voice, he said, "You are like this cup, Your Majesty, so full of your own pride, your own knowledge, your own importance. How can I pour wisdom into you if you do not first empty your cup?" The words struck the king like thunder. His face flushed. For a moment, silence filled the courtyard, broken only by the chirping of distant birds. The king realized the truth. He had come with his crown high, his chest puffed, demanding wisdom as if it were a prize to be claimed. But wisdom could not be poured into a vessel already overflowing with arrogance. Slowly, he removed his crown. He placed it gently on the table. His shoulders lowered, his voice softened. He whispered, "You are right. All my life I have been full of myself. Teach me, not as a king, but as a humble man. I am ready to empty my cup." The master smiled. "Then you are ready to begin." From that day forward, the king returned to the monastery again and again. No longer did he arrive with soldiers and servants. Instead, he came alone, dressed simply, walking the mountain paths with humility. The master taught him not through grand speeches, but through silence, patience, and small acts of awareness. He showed him that wisdom was not hidden in scrolls or treasures. It was found in listening, in kindness, in humility. The king learned to serve food to the poor with his own hands. He learned to sweep the monastery floor without shame. He learned to sit in silence, watching the sunrise, and feel peace in his heart. And slowly, the emptiness that once haunted him began to fade. He no longer sought wisdom as a possession, but as a way of being. His cup was emptied of pride, and so it could be filled with truth. When he returned to his palace, his people noticed the change. He was still their ruler, still their protector, but now his eyes held a new light. His words carried gentleness, his decisions carried fairness. He ruled not with pride, but with understanding. And for the first time, the kingdom knew true peace. My friend, this story is not just about a king, it is about us. How often do we walk through life with cups already full, with pride, with ego, with the belief that we already know everything? How often do we refuse to listen because our hearts are too crowded with our own voices? Remember this, a full cup cannot receive, but an empty one can be filled with treasures beyond imagination. Wisdom belongs not to the proud, but to the humble. So empty your cup, let go of pride, open yourself to learning, because true wisdom is not in knowing everything, it is in realizing how much there is still to learn. And if this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs this reminder today. And for more timeless tales filled with life-changing lessons, don't forget to subscribe to Life Lessons Library, because sometimes one simple story is enough to open your eyes forever.